The Dragon Who Was Allergic to Fire. Once upon a time, far beyond the highest mountains and the deepest valleys, there was a hidden land called Embervale. Embervale was a magical place, blanketed in emerald forests, sparkling rivers, and great stone caves. But what truly made Embervale extraordinary was its inhabitants, dragons of every shape, size, and colour. Some dragons shimmered gold in the sunlight, others glowed blue like the evening sky, and some were as green as the moss that covered the rocks by the riverbanks. In the heart of Embervale, in a cosy cave tucked beneath a willow tree, lived a young dragon named Flicker. Flicker was not like the other dragons. His scales were the colour of ripe tangerines, dotted with tiny freckles, and his eyes sparkled with curiosity. Flicker loved to explore, to daydream, and most of all, to spend time with his friends. But Flicker had a secret he was very shy about. You see, Flicker was allergic to fire. Now, this was quite a problem for a dragon. In Embervale, dragons used fire for everything. They toasted marshmallows on camping trips, roasted chestnuts in the winter, and even lit lanterns with a gentle puff for nighttime celebrations. But whenever Flicker tried to breathe fire, something very strange would happen. Instead of a bright, warm flame, Flicker would sneeze. A sneeze so powerful that it would send him tumbling head over tail. And instead of fire, only a few tiny sparks would fizzle out with a wheeze. Flicker's friends, Blaze, Willow, and Pebble, were kind and understanding. They never teased Flicker, but Flicker still felt different. He worried that he would never fit in with the other dragons, that he would never be able to join in the fire-breathing games or help light the lanterns at the Embervale festival. One sunny morning, as Flicker was playing by the river with his friends, they heard a commotion from the village square. Dragons were gathering, murmuring with excitement. Flicker's mother called out to him, her wings fluttering with anticipation.
"Flicker, there's news from the High Dragon Council. They've announced a great Embervale challenge."
Flicker's heart leaped. The Great Embervale Challenge was a legendary event, held only once every 100 years, where dragons young and old would compete in friendly contests of skill, creativity, and courage. The winners would earn a place in the Book of Brave Dragons, and their stories would be told for generations. This year, the challenge was to create something magical for the Embervale Festival, a display so dazzling, so creative, that it would light up the night and fill everyone's hearts with wonder. Flicker's friends were buzzing with ideas. Blaze wanted to create a fireworks show, Willow thought of painting pictures in the sky with shimmering flames, and Pebble dreamed of building a glowing castle of embers. But Flicker's heart sank. How could he join the challenge if he couldn't breathe fire? He watched his friends practice, sending swirling ribbons of flame into the air. Every time Flicker tried, his nose tickled, his eyes watered, and achoo! He sneezed, sending a shower of harmless, sparkling dust into the breeze. That evening, Flicker sat by the river, feeling small and alone. The moon shimmered on the water, and the willow branches swayed gently overhead. "Why do I have to be the only dragon who can't breathe fire?" Flicker sighed. Just then, a gentle voice whispered through the air. It was old Ember, the wise elder dragon, whose scales glimmered with silvery patterns. "Flicker, my dear, what troubles you so?" Flicker looked up, startled. He had always admired old Ember, who told stories of ancient times and knew every dragon's name. Flicker hesitated, then whispered, "I'm allergic to fire. I can't join the challenge. I'll never be a real dragon." Old Ember smiled kindly. "Ah, but Flicker, being a real dragon is about more than breathing fire. Every dragon has a spark inside, something that makes them special. Sometimes it just takes a little courage to let it shine." "But how?" Flicker asked. "Start with what you love," old Ember said. "Look at the world with your curious eyes and let your heart guide you. Sometimes the greatest magic comes from the most unexpected places." Flicker thought about old Ember's words as he walked home. He gazed at the river, where the moonlight danced on the ripples. He listened to the crickets chirping and watched the fireflies blinking in the grass. And suddenly, an idea began to flicker in his mind. A wild, wonderful, daring idea. The next day, Flicker gathered his friends. "I want to try something different for the challenge," he said. "I need your help." Blaze, Willow, and Pebble listened eagerly as Flicker shared his plan. It was unlike anything they had ever heard before, but they trusted Flicker's creativity. For days, the friends worked together, gathering supplies, practicing, and using their unique talents to bring Flicker's idea to life. The night of the Embervale Festival arrived. The village square was ablaze with laughter and music. Dragons gathered from all over Embervale, their scales gleaming in the lantern light. One by one, the teams presented their magical displays, cascades of fire, glowing sculptures, and fiery dances that lit up the night. At last, it was Flicker's turn. He took a deep breath, swallowed his nerves, and stepped into the center of the square with his friends by his side. The crowd watched, curious and expectant. Flicker nodded to Blaze, who tapped a hollow log, sending a gentle beat through the air. Willow unfurled a canvas painted with night skies and twinkling stars. Pebble arranged a circle of polished stones, each one glimmering in the lantern light. Then Flicker took his place in the middle. He focused on the tickle in his nose, the way he always did when he tried to breathe fire. But instead of trying to force a flame, he let the sneeze come naturally, a big, sparkling sneeze that shot a cloud of shimmering dust into the air. The dust sparkled like tiny diamonds, swirling in the gentle breeze. The fireflies, drawn to the glittering cloud, began to dance through the air, their lights twinkling like stars. The rhythm of Blaze's drum matched the fluttering wings of the fireflies, and Willow's painted sky became a backdrop for a magical, living constellation. The crowd gasped in awe as the fireflies formed shapes, dragons soaring, hearts glowing, and flowers blooming, all outlined in the sparkling dust from Flicker's sneeze. The display was soft and gentle, not bright and fiery, but it was mesmerizing. It was something no dragon had ever seen before. When the last firefly drifted away and the dust settled on the grass, the square was silent for a moment. Then, a roar of applause filled the air. Dragons cheered, clapped their claws, and stomped their feet. Old Ember's eyes shone with pride, and Flicker's mother hugged him tightly. The High Dragon Council gathered to announce the winners. They smiled at Flicker and his friends. "Tonight, we have seen many wonders," said the head dragon, "but nothing as magical as the beauty you created together. Flicker, you showed us that true magic comes from embracing who we are and sharing our gifts with others." Flicker's name was written in the Book of Brave Dragons, not as the dragon who couldn't breathe fire, but as the dragon who brought a new kind of magic to Embervale, a magic of friendship, creativity, and courage. From that night on, whenever a dragon felt a little different or worried they didn't fit in, they remembered Flicker's story. They knew that every dragon, no matter how different, had something special to share. And so, Flicker lived happily in Embervale, sneezing sparkles and spreading joy wherever he went. He learned that being yourself was the most magical thing of all. And if you ever wander near Embervale on a warm summer night, you might see a cloud of glitter sparkling above the river, and a young dragon smiling as fireflies dance all around. The end.